Would you still want to win the lottery if it cost you your family? I still remember the exact night it happened. We were sitting in the cramped living room, the TV buzzing in the background, when my father pulled a crumpled lottery ticket from his pocket. He waved it around with this half-serious grin, the way someone jokes about being rich even though they know it'll never happen. "Wouldn't it be funny if this was the one?" he said. We all laughed. We always laughed. My family never won anything. But when the numbers rolled across the screen, the laughter died. One by one, every single digit matched. My father stared in silence. My mother's hand flew to her mouth, and I just remember feeling the room tilt, like reality had cracked open. We weren't poor, but we weren't far from it. My parents worked themselves to the bone just to keep the lights on. Suddenly, we were millionaires. Overnight. At first, it was beautiful. The stress that had weighed on our house for years seemed to lift. My parents paid off debts, renovated the home, bought me new clothes, even talked about college without hesitation. It felt like the world had finally given us a break. But then came the phone calls, the long-lost relatives who suddenly wanted to reconnect, the old friends with teary voices about financial struggles. Even neighbors started dropping hints, asking for help with emergencies. My father, always a generous man, started handing out money. Little at first, a loan here, a gift there. But it never stopped. The more he gave, the more people came crawling out of the woodwork. And then the arguments began. My mother begged him to stop, to save for the future, but he wouldn't hear it. He said he was obligated, that people needed him, that money was worthless if you couldn't share it. But it wasn't sharing anymore, it was bleeding. He was bleeding us dry. The breaking point came one night when my mother discovered he had given away nearly half the winnings not to charities, not to people truly in need, but to parasites. Old drinking buddies, cousins who hadn't spoken to us in years. Even the mechanic who used to overcharge him for car repairs. They fought like I had never heard before. Words like knives, voices raw with betrayal. My father shouted that the money had cursed us, that maybe we were better off without it. My mother shouted back that he was destroying the family and his desperate need to be liked. I thought it couldn't get worse. But then came the stranger. A man none of us knew showed up at our door claiming my father had promised him an investment in some shady business. When my father refused, the man didn't threaten, he just smiled. A smile I'll never forget. "You don't know what kind of people you're dealing with," he said before walking away. After that, my father wasn't the same. He grew paranoid, constantly checking locks, jumping at shadows. He stopped giving money away, but it was too late. The vultures had already circled. Within 2 years, almost every dollar was gone. My father had either handed it out, lost it in investments, or spent it trying to win back the approval of people who never cared about him in the first place. The house was sold, the cars too. We ended up right back where we started, worse even, because now there was bitterness where there used to be love. The night before he died, years later, I sat with him. He was frail, broken, a shell of the man who once stood tall with a winning ticket in his hand. He whispered something that still rings in my ears. "Son, money doesn't change people. It shows them," and I didn't like what I saw in myself. That lottery ticket didn't make us rich, it destroyed us.